Welcome to the Endless Honeymoon Podcast.
I'm Moshe Kasher.
And I'm Natasha Leggero.
And we've had a great week.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, come on, Tosh. This is the all positive episode of the Endless Honeymoon Podcast. You just got busted.
I know, I just ran upstairs and the nanny's like, what is that smell? It smells like pot. And I was like, it's a candle. And then I go, it's incense. And then I was like, it's Nag Champa.
I mean, she knows that's not true. I don't understand why you would lie. You often will lie when the truth will do.
Well, because she's like, like more of like my mom's age. So
So what? What are you hiding from her? She can't get you in trouble.
I mean, she's actually younger than my mom, but she has a more mom figure.
Yeah, I know, but you're not. She can't ground you. You're allowed to say, yeah, it's pot. I was smoking pot downstairs. I was smoking pot. I smoke pot. I'm a pot smoker. How am I more open-minded about drugs and laid back about drugs than you are, and I don't do them?
I guess I have like Puritanism in me.
You got that Catholic school residual stardust.
Yeah, my mom is like more, square. Like I don't think she's ever tried a cigarette or any drug.
My mom used to, when I was like 8, tell me about her experiences on acid. And she was telling them to me as like a cautionary tale. And I remember being 8 and being like, I will try that. I will take that drug. That is the drug that I will take, and I will take it. And then I got to be, but I waited a long time. It wasn't until I was 12 that I first dropped acid. So in a way it worked.
Oh man, I'm so glad your brain is as good as it is, because it really does kill brain cells in young kids.
My brain is as good as it is, not in spite of taking LSD as a tween. It's because of.
What?
It is.
Oh no, I know what I mean. I think marijuana. If you smoke too much marijuana when you're in high school, I think it kills your brain cells.
What are you, a DARE officer?
Yeah, I am.
You are? You work for DARE?
So is a nanny. She works for DARE.
Oh, so that's why you had to lie to keep your job. To be able to. I mean, I don't know that that's really true. I don't know that it isn't true. I mean, look, I don't want our kid when she turns 12 to be smoking blunts. All I'm saying is, I don't know that it like kills your brain cells.
Okay, why don't you read some studies on it?
Why don't you? How many have you read on that?
I'll tell you how many brain cells I've lost since I started smoking pot.
You feel dumber?
I mean, I feel dumber. I don't know. I'm sure that's just one contributing factor.
To how dumb you've become?
Yeah. I think there's COVID. I think it's being a mom and not having the bandwidth anymore to finish an article. I think it's like the internet, and I think it's drugs.
Well, why don't we ask our guest what she thinks? I'm sure she's done drugs in her life.
If you read her book, you would see that she's been to rehab, and I think she doesn't do drugs.
Don't call me out on the mat like that. Okay, don't try and pull my covers.
Well, we'll ask her for some advice
on how young is too young.
She's a mother. Let's ask her if she thinks marijuana kills your brain cells.
That sounds like a great plan. She's not just a drug user, ladies and gentlemen. She's a comedic legend. She was on Saturday Night Live in the 70s.
And more recently, she was on Dice with Me.
That's right. She played Natasha's... speaking of mom figures, another mom figure coming to the pod right now. This person actually played your mom on the Showtime hit series.
But she is too young to really be my mom.
But not too young to be a DARE officer. Ladies and gentlemen.
Lorraine Newman. Hi, Lorraine.
Hello, you guys.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How do you like my closet?
Well, it's very fuzzy.
That's deliberate.
Lorraine, you look amazing.
Oh my God, thank you. It's my life's work.
You look great. We were actually Moshe was like, we were just having a dispute about drugs, and he's like, let's ask Lorraine. And he's like, she's cool. She does drugs. And I was like, well, I don't.
You want to know, honey? Just ask.
No, this was the debate, Lorraine. The debate was that Natasha smokes pot. I'm sober, but I have a more open-minded view about drugs and alcohol than she does. She likes to hide it, pretend she doesn't do it, like tiptoe around.
No, because we have a kid. So for example, I was just debating with him. I said, marijuana kills brain cells in teens. And he's like, thinks thinks that we
She
should
sounds
be.
like a cop. That's what I think.
Well, here's what I've learned. The brain does not stop developing until the age of 23. So it's a good idea to give your kids a chance to fully develop their brains before they experiment with drugs.
Thank you.
Well,
That's just my personal opinion.
I was dropping acid when I was 12, this is what the debate was. Am I smart despite it or because of it?
Well, acid's different. Acid's like a
That
mind
is a good
opener.
question.
Oh, then
And
again-
did you do it? How much did you do it, Moshe?
I did it too much.
He did it enough to never be able to do any drugs or alcohol again after 14. Well, that's what because you're a mom too. Like, that's what I would tell my kid. I would be like, if you wait, you can be like your mom who started at 30 and I get to do it my whole life now and kind of dabble. Or if you do it really too early, you might end up like your dad and never even be able to have a glass of wine at an Italian restaurant.
But
actually-
is that your choice?
What?
Or
To be
you're
sober?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess it. You went through that stuff too, right?
Yeah,
You talked about it in your
yeah.
book. I mean, is it ever really your choice to lose control of drugs and alcohol and then have to get sober? Not really, but
Never
yeah, no,
your
I'm.
choice to lose control. That's for cotton picking, sure. Yeah, I guess but everybody reaches their end of the road. But the only reason I asked you if it was your choice was I wasn't sure whether you, like me, just didn't like alcohol. I didn't like it. I didn't drink.
I definitely liked drugs a lot.
Yeah.
And I am now, my situation is a little unique in that I got sober. I was part of the second wave of Just Say No drug rehab in the 90s. I went to rehab when I was super young, like 14, 15 years old. And I got
Oh,
sober.
you're so lucky.
Yeah, people say that. People do say that. But it doesn't feel like luck. It feels like the opposite. But now I've been sober 27 or something years since I was
That's
15.
fantastic.
And
That's great.
it's good. Yeah, it's good. You like being sober, walking through this pandemic world without the ability to drop acid?
I cannot imagine. No, my drug of choice now is Netflix. Everything. I mean, I have seen everything. You ask me about a show, as long as it's not a reality show, I could tell you what it was about.
You want to give us some top picks
Yeah.
since there's so much to
Sure.
look through?
These are
God.
Lorraine Newman's top pandemic picks.
Okay, first of all, anything that is Swedish noir, any kind of, Swedish detective procedural, that stuff is so well done and so good. Also, British crime. I like a lot of crime dramas. Am I not? That's very common, I think. A lot of comics I know, or people in the area of comedy, like crime dramas. Do you guys watch comedy at all?
No, never. I never.
I like it.
Natasha does like it. I won't listen.
I'll watch any comedy.
I won't listen to
It
a
just
comedy
depends.
podcast. I only want hard drama. But you seem to like drama with an accent.
It's true. And that's true, Marsha. I do. I like it a lot that way. And I don't know why. I don't know why that is.
Well, the British have a way of making things feel more dramatic, but I would say the Scandinavians their accent makes things feel less dramatic. It's a little sillier, you know.
Well, that's a matter of opinion. I think their stuff can be. There's a trilogy called Department Q, and it's 3 movies, and that stuff is dark.
Are you?
Department Q.
Unbelievably. Yeah, Department Q. It's 3 movies. But oh my God, there's just so many shows. I just finished watching the 2nd season of a Spanish show called Sky Rojo, and it's about a brothel in Spain, and all of the characters and the situations that happen with that. It's so brutal.
I never watched this genre.
No,
so-
Natasha
But
definitely.
I think I would like it.
What, crime?
No, but if it
I don't
has
think so.
everything has like this kind of romantic, like, another world, another language. Like, I like subtitles too because I feel like it makes you watch the show and not be on your phone while you're.
That's true. Although some of the comedies that I did like, I loved your show, Natasha. I loved Another Period. That was what it was called.
Thank you, yes.
I loved that show. I thought it was so good. It was so up my alley in every way. The tone of it.
Oh, we should have had you on.
I would have loved to have been on, but
Well, Well, maybe
C'est
we'll
la
make
vie.
a movie of it.
Speaking of C'est
We
La
should.
Vie and people with accents that are in the entertainment industry, I just found out that you studied with Marcel Marceau, and I have some family inside information about the Kasher family. My father was like a kind of experimental artist in the Lower East Side in the 60s, and Marcel Marceau saw one of his performances and invited him to come. He was a deaf guy, my father was, and he invited him to come study under him. And it was, to me, always the great opportunity that didn't occur. My father could have been a mime, but instead was a postal worker. What, what was that
God.
like? Tell me about that.
Well, it was great. I had actually studied here in LA since I was 16. I had like 4 years of it. Or no, not 4. I had, from 16 till when I graduated high school. I
Of
studied
mime?
Of mime and improv, actually. I learned improv as well, not knowing that I would learn that. But, and then when I ended up at Marceau's school, it was complete French immersion, but it was also a lot of deaf students.
Oh, is that right? That must have been, maybe he was into that.
Yeah, there were definitely a good percentage of the students were deaf.
Cool.
So it was total immersion with ASL too.
Well, that makes total sense that you would pick deaf people because they already have extremely expressive faces. It's a part of the way they communicate anyway. And I imagine if you're going to go to a full French immersion school, the easiest one would be mime school because you don't talk that much, right?
Yes. Well, but they're still saying, I don't see anything funny about that or something like that.
You still got it.
Oh, thank you.
But you know what's weird is, I don't know if you know this, Lorraine, American Sign Language is 70% French Sign Language. I'm right.
I know, like cur
Yeah.
for heart. I know. It's interesting that way.
Yeah.
Do you know ASL, Lorraine?
No, I can
Oh,
do the alphabet now. That's about it.
Right.
But do you know I'm trapped in a box, Lorraine?
I don't know that I'm trapped in a box. I do not.
Wow, that's
Well,
good.
Zoom comedy. We finally found a use for Zoom comedy.
I know. Oh my God, help me. Help me.
So you've done so much. Like, are you kind of like a gape at like the world right now, or are you like, you know what,
I expected this.
this will pass, like, or are you just kind of like floored?
No, I think we're doomed. I've got to find that TikTok channel that is just all positive stuff, because between the racism and the stupidity and the corporate greed that's propagating all of this like bullshit and subterfuge.
Don't forget global warming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's part of corporate greed. It all boils down to corporate greed. I was reading an article on Mitch McConnell, sidetrack, and I mean, he has 3 daughters who pretty much don't talk to him. And there's like, people that knew him in the beginning of his career, and they said, nah, he was always about power. He never started as some idealistic guy. This is such good fodder for your podcast.
No, but you know what? I think the thing you said is true, but then also I think we still have to be hopeful, right? I mean,
Oh,
we have to
absolutely.
be. So it's like, as long as we have that, it's like a sliver. It's the light. It's the
I really think that people, humanity has painted themselves into a corner.
Yeah.
And I think when it really push comes to shove, we will pull ourselves out of it.
In a way, we're all trapped in a box, right? When you think
We
of it.
we are all trapped in a box. And the global warming is
Is coming closer and closer and closer.
So I want to hear about your performance artist dad.
Well, my dad was a deaf guy that you want to hear the beyond Marcel Marceau. Here's the bigger heartbreak of my father's artistic life. He was a deaf guy that was an abstract impressionist painter in the 60s and had 2
we have a wall of his paintings at our house.
We do.
We'll post it.
He was very talented, but then he became after my mother left him, he became a born again Orthodox Jew, left art behind, stopped painting, packed all of his supplies into a storage locker, joined the United States Postal Service, where he retired. No, he didn't retire. He died. But that's a kind of retirement.
He
when
was
you think
also
of it.
Hasidic. Like,
Yeah, he got real religious.
I have never seen a Hasidim postal worker.
Well, he was deaf, so he had, you know, he occupied more than one world as a result of that. You know what I mean?
That's
he
amazing.
became religious, but he was never fully accepted as a religious person, and then also he was just between two worlds. But here's the great heartbreak of my father's artistic life. He had two stories in a brownstone in the Lower East Side, 2 floors that he lived in that he rented for like $40 a month, and they offered to sell it to him for like I think $20,000 or something for 2 floors,
God.
not 2 apartments,
Oh,
2
no,
floors. Do you know where I would be right now, Natasha?
Yeah, you'd have like kind of a small, annoying apartment on the Lower East Side.
No.
Instead of a nice house in Los Angeles.
Would you guys ever want to live in New York?
You know, I was just thinking that. My friend was saying that New York, you know, it's just a more expensive city than LA, you know, and putting your kids in private school, if you want to do that, like everyone does that there. And it's like, I think $1 million until college to put your kids in private school.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know
like you
that.
have to-
Yeah, I just feel like it seems scary for your kids.
Well, you've lived in both. What's better?
Take the subway. I don't know.
Well, I grew up in Los Angeles. I am from California. I come from a car culture. And you'd be surprised how oppressive it feels to be in a city where you can't drive yourself. For me, New York was utter toil. It's like if I wanted to do a big marketing and pick up my dry cleaning in one day, forget it.
Yeah.
You know, you couldn't. It was just too much work.
Yeah.
So
that's why
I
it's good to
wasn't-
be young there, like in your 20s.
Yes, or have unimaginable wealth.
Right.
But then,
right.
but then, what?
Which
You pay
being-
someone to you're a 20-year-old who pays someone to go do their errands.
No, it's like you either want to be 20 or a billionaire, and then New York will open itself to you. Being a billionaire is like being an old 20-year-old. It'd be like being a 20-year-old for life.
My firstborn went away to college and has never come back, and they're almost 30.
They went to New York? Mm-hmm. Yeah, got it. Yeah,
Third generation Californian, now lives in New York for good, I'm pretty sure.
I feel that before the pandemic, California, quality of life-wise, had a marked advantage over New York. I mean, New York, you can't deny. It's beautiful. It's awesome. Beautiful maybe isn't the right word. It's awesome.
There's street life. It smells like piss. There's rats on the
It's
street.
the most fun place, but it's the most fun place in America and maybe in the world.
There's a nice park.
There is more than a nice park in New York.
No, I love New York. Obviously, I want to live there. I'd like to live at the Dakota, though.
But the problem was the pandemic. They got through the pandemic with better mental health than we did, because the advantage of Los Angeles prior. Well, here's my theory that I'm working with, and my friend Louis Katz told me about. Basically, the advantage we had was our disadvantage, because we have yards and personal space, and we're not trapped in a little shoebox. We were able to create these bizarre cocoons of agoraphobia in Los Angeles, where we didn't have to leave the apartment, so that by the time the pandemic started to thaw a bit, although thank goodness we're getting back to it.
By it, he means a new variant.
Yeah, the Delta Plus. We got
knew
Lambda
what he
coming
meant.
in. We got and this is an exciting time. But
Try to
anyway,
make room for Lambda.
yeah, we got to get this
Oh,
Delta out of here and
dear.
get the Lambda going. But I think that New Yorkers came out of the pandemic a little bit more mentally healthy, because they were forced to go out into the world this
Right.
whole
I would
time.
not leave my house sometimes for 3 or 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, that's my theory. Lorraine, what do you think?
Well, I'm not sure, because I would think it would be the opposite, because New York is so well. Actually, no, their street life is it's all about that, because they are. Yeah, you're right.
They never had the opportunity to hide. They had to go out, even though they got hit maybe harder. I don't even know if they did get hit harder with COVID.
They did.
But
They
they
did.
had to go out the whole time. They never really could convince themselves that it was normal to be inside of your 4 walls for months at a time, because the city doesn't really allow for that. So they won this round, but we still have great surfing.
That's true. Can't deny it.
That's all you need.
Lorraine, did you have anything you learned this pandemic, or anything you want to share with us?
Yeah,
Or-
drop some
I
wisdom.
learned that the TV can be your boyfriend for only so long.
But he can be Swedish, he can be British, he can be Spanish, he can be anybody you want.
I like variety. A lot of variety.
Well, I think that, yeah, you're right about that. And we got to get the fuck out of our houses. And
I've been going to movies. I've been going, at the very beginning, I was going to the market. I just followed the protocol. I was not scared as long as I felt if we followed the protocol, and that was before the vaccine. I just didn't feel like, I thought if we just wore masks and at times gloves and sanitized everything, I was going to be okay.
Well, yeah, we have a very New York, Los Angeles conflict in our family between Natasha and me, because my great love is nature and camping, and Natasha's great love is luxury and hotels. And we've found
That's
a way
so
to
cute.
Well, we found a way to like Jack Sprat and his wife it throughout the course of our relationship. But
love
during the
that.
pandemic, the luxury and the hotel, that was kind of unavailable to us. So I really started like it was always
Yeah, I'm like
the
trying to
woods.
like put the reins down now. I'm
Yeah.
just like skidding into like help.
We got to get to a high-end boutique hotel soon, or we're not going to make it.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Those are wonderful. Ojai. Go to Ojai.
Yeah,
Let's
that'd
go
be
to
nice.
Ojai. We're going to
They
Ojai.
have great stuff there.
Well, I think we should take a call
Yeah.
because we have a girl.
Okay.
Wait, do we have someone waiting? Okay, she's waiting. So, are you cool with that? To maybe
Totally.
see
Yeah,
what's up
I'm
with
ready.
these?
Let's go.
So we are going to call Erin in Denver.
Oh, we should say the name of your book, May You Live in Interesting Times, The Curse. And we definitely live in interesting times
The
right now.
curse. I love
Boy,
that.
howdy.
Hi.
Oh,
There
hi.
she is.
Hi. How's it going?
Hi, Erin.
Hey, Erin. Oh, it's Natasha, Moshe, and our friend Lorraine Newman.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be talking to you.
Hi, Erin. You're so pretty. God.
All of our callers are like really young and hot, and we're happy to help them out.
Yeah, we're happy to screen them to make sure they are. Erin, what's happening? How can we help?
Okay, so basically, a little while ago, I had hooked up with a guy at a friend's birthday party, and I wouldn't say he's like in our core group of friends, but he's kind of like maybe a fringe member. And basically, I realized pretty quickly that I wasn't interested in anything else with him. And I think my fatal error was that I kind of like skirted it at first and played it off like, I'm a teacher and we're going into like a really difficult year and I just don't really have time. And I was hoping that he would kind of get the hint, and
He's like, I'll wait.
no, seriously, Natasha, like you totally nailed it. Basically, I haven't hung out with him the entire year that he's been asking. He's kind of been asking me on dates or to go camping.
For a year?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Wow.
Okay,
And I haven't
all right.
seen him once. Yeah.
This is like so obvious.
Well, hold on. Let's get to it. What's the question?
Let's-
Okay, so my question is that how do I end this with him while maintaining some sort of civility, since I will definitely see him again, and because it didn't really come out and say that I wasn't interested to start with. So I don't know how to approach that now, because that seems kind of like, oh, well, why didn't you say that from the beginning? Does that make sense? Yeah.
Lorraine, thoughts? Do you have any yet?
I have been in a similar position, although you dare when you say hooked up. Did that mean that you met up for a meal or something, or did?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Boy, so you're concerned that he may think that you've strung him along because you haven't said it all this time.
Yeah, definitely. I thought he would kind of like get the hint, but he
No. This is like an exercise, and this isn't even about him. This is about you. This is about an exercise in you exercising your directness as a woman, because it's really important, and it's a really important quality that you'll need in relationships, in business, and you're gonna see how it feels when you say it to him. You're gonna be extremely direct, and if he says, "Why did you string me along?" you'll just be like, "I'm really sorry if that's how it felt. I didn't mean to, and I'm apologizing, and I just want you to know now." If he gets emotional, but hopefully it won't go there.
And by the way, speaking of getting the hint, he's not the only one that needed to get the hint. You needed to get the hint at about month 3 that he kept calling you that you were dealing with a thirsty buffoon that wasn't going to take any of these subtle clues you've been dropping. These breadcrumbs you've been leaving.
Oh God! Wait a second. I gotta just pick my uterus up from the floor. It fell out. One thing, Erin, I think that the truth, it sounds like to me, is that you just didn't know how.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that.
That's a honesty. Natasha and I, we debate this all the time. Like, I think being honest 9 times out of 10 is better than the elaborate constructed lie that you figure out, because lies always get you into this like sticky trouble where you're like, oh, I didn't anticipate this reaction to the lie. But what Lorraine's saying is true. If you tell them the honest truth, I didn't know how to just say I wasn't in. There's no what follow-up questions can there be?
Yeah. Okay. Well, so I do think I can do that at this point because I'm so ready for him to like stop. But I don't know how to approach that, because a lot of the times when he asks me to hang out or meet up, it's like kind of under the guise of something that doesn't exactly come off as a date. So it feels,
you should never be hanging around him by yourself. He's part of your friend group now. So like that would torture him. Now you're going to go to movies as friends, even though you're so hot and he's totally attracted to you and kind of a little butthurt, even though he says he's not. But you guys are going to still go out as friends. No.
But here's the other reality. He does know. The guy knows. He's not that stupid that he's like, I think she's interested. It's only been 11 months. I think she's interested. It's like, he knows. He just
has to.
You're probably a little out of his league. I'm kind of guessing here. And he knows, but so if you do anything, if you leave any door open, he will take it.
It's the Mickey Rooney, Ava Gardner approach, and you won't know any of those people, but it's like, I'll just wear her down.
Yes. Yeah.
And I would also say it's probably not going to be exactly the same as it was before. He's probably going to be a little hurt. It's probably going to be a little weird around him for a while. And I think you just have to be nice. Try not to be alone with him. Always bring a friend and just be really cool and sweet and talk to him if he talks to you. You know, just try to imagine how it was, and hopefully it'll get there. But it might be a little awkward at first, and you just have to be willing to have that uncomfortability in your life, because you have to be direct with people.
Do you want to try it, Erin?
Yes, Natasha, absolutely. Oh, let's role play. Let's come on.
Okay. All right, great.
Wait, Lorraine, do you want to be the boy?
Don't make her do that.
She's an improv legend.
I think that you would be much better
All
because,
right.
with the thirsty buffoon. I mean, I cannot top that.
I'll be the guy. Okay. Hey, Erin, it's me. I just was wondering if you wanted. Where do you live?
Denver.
If you want to go like just to a stream or some kind of boulder that we could climb up at some point, I'm around.
Thank you so much for thinking of me.
Oh, for sure. That's all I do. A year now.
I wish I had kind of like mentioned this before, but I'm just really not interested. I think you're a great guy and I would love to be friends, but...
Oh, you want to be friends? Okay, let's go to the boulder.
Okay, this is such a good point, because I feel like I don't know how to like... I feel like if I say like, hey, I'm not interested, and he's like, oh, I was just trying to hang out. Like, we're friends. We've been friends for like 15 years. Like, why are you being so weird?
Yeah.
15 years?
Yeah. We grew up in Boulder together. I've known him for a really long time. I wouldn't say we're like close. Like he's not in the core group of friends, but like, yeah, I've known him casually for about.
So this sounds like you might need to send a text.
Yeah, email. This is an email.
An email.
Are you genuinely interested in being friends with him?
Oh, good question, Lauren.
Yeah, good question. I guess I would say like no.
Okay, don't offer that then.
So right.
Yeah, then why'd you start with that?
Yeah.
Because it feels softer. I don't know. I don't want to.
I think it's going to be a hard thing. I think you're going to have to send him a text and say, hey, there's something I want to talk to you about. Mm-hmm. And then he's going to, because it would be rude to do the whole thing over text. And then maybe he'll call you and you can say, listen, and not in person. I would do phone and I would have notes. And I would say, listen, I just wanted to talk to you about, I know we've been hanging out a little more, feeling like maybe there might be something, but I just want you to know that I'm just not really feeling it that way. And I just want to be really clear with you now, and make sure that there's no misunderstanding. I don't know. Are there any buzzwords you guys can help with?
I mean, I would actually.
So there's no, and then he can handle it.
I actually would advocate for a pure text relationship here, an email, because I think you don't like it, Lorraine? You think it's, well, hear me out. Hear my reasoning.
You damn kids with your email and your texting. That is just rude.
Mickey Rooney wouldn't have done that. Wait, all I'm saying is I can tell that you are a person who panics in the middle and will soften in real time and capitulate and capitulate. And if you get all your thoughts out in an email and send it to him, then there won't be ambiguity where you're so embarrassed at what you're having to do that you then make yourself in a future uncomfortable situation. I mean, all you really need to tell this guy is, I know that we've had romantic interludes in the past, but over the year I've been thinking I'm just not up for a romantic connection with you. That's it.
Has he not just nailed the way you would have done this?
No,
how you would have compared? Had he not just nailed it? That is so insightful, really, Moishe.
Well, thank you. Natasha?
All right. Well, I think you have some great advice, and you can just, replay it when it airs and write down what Moshe said, and just keep me and Lorraine's influence in mind.
Don't offer him something that you're really not genuinely willing to give him just to soften the blow. Don't do that.
And don't do it with another guy either.
Like Natasha was saying, like, this is a part of the journey of, like, self-empowerment too. So it's like, it's good in a weird way.
I used to date anybody who liked me.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely done that, I think, in the past.
We all have, dear.
All right. Well,
All right,
good luck, honey. We'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
They're so cute.
She was sweet.
Oh, that's a burden, being that pretty and having guys being thirsty buffoons all over you.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. I could just by looking at her, I could tell his whole dynamic. I just knew who he was.
So on it.
Just what his
Amazing.
thing was. He was
A little close to home, huh, Moshe?
No. I'm just saying.
Moshe is a sober 16-year-old raver trying to get with the hottest chick in the dance
All
floor.
I'm saying is that guy probably, when he hooked up with her, was like, I've been waiting for this for my whole life, finally.
For 15 years.
Since the early days in Boulder. And then finally she hooks up with him, and he's been trying ever since. I feel sorry for the guy, not her. She'll be fine.
Yeah, but I think as women, we're just so pissed off when guys don't get the message.
Yeah.
And force us to confront them. It's just such a pisser.
Lorraine, have you ever asked a guy out? I never have.
Let me think. I'm sure that I have, yes. Because you're very pretty, Natasha.
Thank you.
I had to work a little harder. So, yeah, I used to.
Well, you
ask
had
guys
way.
out.
Well, first of all, that's not true. You were so
No,
hot. But I mean, I think it's what people's taste is. I'm also
That's true.
like 4'11", so
Yeah, and that's my taste.
Well, I often heard that being petite is sexually endearing.
That was my opening line to Natasha. That's so weird.
I would say it would be more endearing than like someone super tall, because I feel like that might intimidate more men than I think most guys could like see themselves dominating a woman. But a lot of guys like tall women.
I've dated both. I dated a 6 foot tall woman once, and then I married a 4'11", and to me, they're all human beings.
Well said.
Should we take another caller?
Yeah.
How much time do we have with Lorraine? Also, I don't want to. Good, we still have time.
I'm good.
All right. Are you ready to do another call?
Let's have it.
Let's call Sammy in Cincinnati.
I hope this woman's not overly attractive.
Oh, I hope so too.
Oh,
God,
she is. Damn it.
Can you see her? Oh, she is. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Oh, we're great. How's Cincinnati?
Oh, it's the best. It's good.
Do you ever get that? Don't you guys have that pasta with chili on it? Isn't that your thing?
Oh, Skyline. You
Yeah.
guys don't have Skyline?
In California, no, we don't have pasta with chili here. It's not a Los Angeles treat.
I've been to Cincinnati, and I don't know what you guys are talking about.
They got chili with pasta. I mean, what more is there to?
Chili and pasta together?
Wow.
Yeah, I think it's fucking gross, but people love it. So.
And
Makes you think.
it's called Skyline.
That's the name of the restaurant, right?
Oh,
it
I
makes you think, Lorraine, about what?
Yeah. It makes you think. Somebody, there's a pot for every lid. Somebody thought of the idea of putting chili on pasta. What else could we do with chili?
It just kind of sounds like they didn't have time to make like meatballs or bolognese.
It is like a
It's
bolognese
like fake
thing.
bolognese.
Right. All right,
It's
anyway.
like bolognese with beans.
Bolognese and beans.
Wait, I have a question. You just said that Cincinnati's awesome.
It is awesome.
What do you love about it?
I don't know. I can't explain it. I've lived in multiple places, and I actually lived in I wouldn't say I lived in California, but I lived in my car in California for like a month, and I couldn't wait to get back here.
Well, the beaches are definitely nicer in Cincinnati. There's no doubt about that.
Also, Cincinnati is better than living in your car. An apartment in Cincinnati.
Natasha's going to go on the record finally and say, are you from Cincinnati?
I'm from Dayton, which is smaller. And
well, I'm from Illinois, and I'm similar, Rockford, Illinois, like Midwest. And so I'm always kind of intrigued by people who love it there because I'm so happy I left.
Oh, yeah, I don't know what it is, and I wish I could explain it, but I only like New York and Cincinnati, and I don't want to.
You're a classic trope. Sammy, how can we help? Why did you contact us?
Okay, so I'm wondering how to unfriend zone my husband. That's really my question. There are kind of follow-up questions, but that's the question.
Can you explain what you mean by that?
Yeah. So when we got married, we didn't know each other very well, and we didn't have time to establish a friendship.
Wait, can you tell us more? Why?
Why is that?
I don't know. Unhealthy. I mean, I'm glad I married him. It's not. I like our relationship.
Was he the guy next door to you in the parking lot in California?
Was it an arranged marriage?
Yeah, it was gas money to get back to Cincinnati.
He was living in it with me. So we do well together 24/7, obviously, because we didn't murder each other in the car. But no, we just I was in a bad relationship, and he had just sworn to not date anymore. And then naturally we started dating and just got engaged kind of shortly after, because we just knew we wanted to marry each other. Not super rational.
So is he in the friend zone now because you're not physically attracted to him anymore?
I'm physically attracted to him. I was a serial player before I met him. And then I think by the time, but he's a good guy. So I think by the time that I had gotten used to commitment, I had found other things to focus on I'm a chronically bored person, to keep myself entertained. And we just really prioritize our friendship and our careers above the romantic side of things. So
let me just say, I like that your life story is kind of like Sid and Nancy, but your look is kind of wellness influencer. It's kind of interesting. You don't look how your story. I live in my car. I married a shotgun wedding. I was a player.
I was a player. Yeah.
But you look like
Mary Poppins.
Yeah,
okay.
You look like you hand dip soy candles.
And also your house behind you have framed photos of your family and beautiful furniture.
Thanks. I do make my own soy candles.
Oh, shit. Oh, God.
Yes. Yes.
That's good. Yeah.
Wow.
Again, Moish nailed it again.
Nailing it again. Natasha?
Okay,
It's
here.
almost telepathic.
You need to be say it in different words, what your question is.
Yeah.
What's the problem? How does he get in the friend zone? And why is that undesirable?
Okay. So part of my question, honestly, is we're both not concerned about it. So part of the question is, do you guys hear that? And you're like, what the fuck? And you're like, wow, that's concerning.
But wait, no, Sammy, let me stop you. We don't know what
we
don't know what you mean. Are you not having sex? Is that what you're saying?
No, we okay, so we function like roommates that are super best friends that occasionally fuck. And I am generally asleep. I think I have this thing called sexsomnia. I'm not kidding. This is real life, where Kevin will come into the bathroom and be like, Sam, and I'm like, what? And then I'm like, fuck, did we have sex last night?
That is not called sexsomnia.
No, I initiate it in my sleep. But yeah.
Okay, got it.
Sammy, what you're describing is marriage.
Or if you're younger, it's assault. But wait, okay, so you barely have sex, and when you have sex, half the time you don't even remember it because you initiated while you were sleeping. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and like neither of us are unhappy with the way things are going. Like we like our dynamic. It's more of randomly we'll be like, shit, are we going to be kicking ourselves when we're 50? Like what, should we have invested more in the romantic side of things?
I mean, you're basically describing every single person coming out of a marriage in a pandemic right now.
You think that people are less sexually connected?
I think that we're all in some weird friend, not friend, enemy, whatever. I don't know, like zone. We're all in like these zones, aren't we? No?
I wasn't until right now. But yeah, I guess I am. I didn't know.
Well, I just mean like there's a level of, I mean, because I don't know, indescribable confusion, roles. We're not getting out. We have no life. Everyone's afraid.
No.
I mean, am I crazy?
It's a less sexy time than there's ever been because everybody's sort of like in their underwear 24/7 for a full year.
Were you feeling this way before the pandemic?
Yeah, not as much, but like, yeah, I was very focused on like my education and career, and we just started to like function like best friends at that point.
Well, I think it's time for a throuple.
Honestly, not a terrible suggestion.
I'm kidding. Geez, I mean, having them be your best friend is really important.
That is true. I mean,
so maybe it's like adding a few like going out excursion romance to it, and like trying to work on that part of it and not try to just make them not your best friend. Why don't you keep that and amp up the more fun romantic side, which will lead to sex where you're awake?
Initiating sex and not remembering it. I have never heard of that.
Yeah, it's
Really?
a millennial problem.
Never heard of it.
Yeah.
It's a male problem.
I think Natasha's onto something here. Like you and Lorraine said it too. You have this relationship that you self-describe as something that you're satisfied with. You like the dynamic, but there's something that you're feeling like, maybe this isn't romantic enough. So why don't you just add some romance, even if it feels artificial, even if it feels forced? Add some conscious hours romance and try that 10 times, and then see where your relationship is at. Are you still happy with it? Because you're young. It's not like you're like about to make a decision where in 50 years you'll look back. It's like you can recalibrate this decision at any time, right? You don't have kids?
No.
So you're welcome to recalibrate this decision in a year or 2 years and go, you know what? I thought I was happy with it, but what I really want is a great love of my life, like a romance novel. Or, you know what? No, that wasn't what was for me. What was for me was this type of situation. So why don't you just add a little bit of conscious, I'm going to, whatever, as corny as you want it to be, roses, lingerie, whatever. I hate lingerie, but you know what I'm saying? Just some bullshit marker of what romance looks like to you guys and see what happens. See if it changes things.
And also be easy on yourself, because people are like, this is like the Great Depression that we're entering. But it's like, yeah, well, at least they had the Roaring 20s and people were like getting drunk in like, basements. Like now it's like we're afraid to even go out to dinner with someone outside. It's like this is like we're all living through this like hell.
Sammy, does he feel this way?
Yeah, we're very much on the same page about it. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's interesting.
You've invested wait, Lorraine, did you have a follow-up to that? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Well, I know how this sounds, but maybe you should have an open marriage. At least it would give you a perspective to not be kicking yourselves. You would have fulfilled that curiosity. I mean, I don't know what
before kids
entails.
Too.
Yeah, before kids too. Absolutely before kids, but maybe you guys should discuss an open marriage to see, because if anything's going to bring that into the forefront about what you do want and what you don't want, I think it would be something like that. Mm-hmm. Is that horrible? I don't know.
No, because what I like about it is because what if she brings it up to him as just an idea and he's like, it could spark their love for each other or their hotness for each other. He could feel a little jealous or whatever, and it could actually make you guys more connected.
Sammy, what do you think?
So
make him try harder.
I feel like part of it, like we felt pretty tested. I wouldn't say tested, but I think we had a good opportunity to figure out if that was going to come up in our relationship, because when I moved back to Cincinnati, I found out the day I moved into my apartment that my ex-boyfriend, who I was like basically engaged to be married to right before Kevin, was living in my building right above me. Yeah, that was a treat. And we both had puppies. This was during like, yeah. So
So you both have to go out to like walk the dogs.
Were you walking your puppy with him?
Yeah, and my puppy has like anxiety, but we ended up moving down the street, and so now when he sees my ex, he's like super excited, and he's one of the only people my puppy has like bonded with. So that's nice.
Your life is a show.
Yeah,
I married
right.
Sammy. I married Sammy.
We all married Sammy. Can I ask you a very personal question, Sammy?
Yes, every time you can.
Okay, the ex, were you guys really passionate and like having wild like sexual chemistry type of vibes?
So we went to a super small Christian college where, all of the rules are
Got it.
everywhere. So everything felt exciting because we were constantly having, to like break rules. And yeah, it was a pretty toxic relationship. So it was super exciting and fun.
Well, yeah, I'm just trying to get a gauge on like what your normal dating life is. Are you normally like super passionate and hypersexual, and then all of a sudden you found yourself in this like normcore, we don't really care about sex that much situation? Is that kind of your vibe?
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. Like, yeah.
Yeah, she said she was a player.
Yeah. But I don't know what player can mean multiple things.
You got to sprinkle that chili sauce back on your spaghetti.
On your pasta, yeah.
On
right.
your pasta.
Yeah, that's right. You got to take it to the skyline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And come up with a fun date for you guys, a picnic, something like obviously romantic if you drink, like, like champagne in the park in the day, or something that's like going to feel like something that they would do,
Do you want him? Like sexually, do you want your husband?
Yeah. I am not interested in anyone else, and
that wasn't what I asked.
Yes, no, I do when I do. I just am not thinking about that super often.
Go ahead, Natasha.
I have something. I told Moshe because he only wanted to have sex at like 2 a.m. I'm sure I've said this before on the podcast, and then he doesn't like to have sex in the morning. So I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to have sex at 2 a.m. So then we kind of like have this arrangement where now, we'll try to have more sex in the afternoon.
Afternoon delight. We coined the term afternoon delight. We made
Yeah,
that up.
you're the first people that ever said that.
That's right. That was us. I'm so glad you acknowledged that, Lorraine.
But you know what I mean? That wasn't working for me. And it doesn't work for him because he's just kind of a closed off person sexually to have sex in the morning.
I think Natasha is the wise one here. You just have to put milestones of like this is the day that we're going to do this, and we're going to have a romantic picnic, and we're going to have sex that night. We're going to have it that afternoon. It's going to happen then, regardless of what your external circumstances are. You're going to, and then see if that changes the dynamic
and see if you're feeling it, because if you're not and it feels weird, then that's really going to tell you something. So
Totally.
I would amp it up as much as you can, over the top, make it funny if you want. I don't know.
Spend 6 months, a year doing that, and then you'll know at the end of that year if you're like, gosh, I'm still just not feeling it. Well, now you have a roommate, not a partner.
Yeah.
Or have a baby, then it'll force him to be your partner.
No, don't. I wouldn't do that.
No,
I can already feel you not wanting to do what Natasha's suggesting.
No.
You don't want to do something romantic?
Oh, no.
No,
I mean,
the baby. It's
Oh,
the baby.
yeah.
Oh,
she
no.
doesn't want to do.
That's not what I meant. Are you down? Does that sound cool and exciting to you?
So I'm a therapist, and I
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh at that.
no, it's fucking funny. Literally, the first thing I thought was like, when I saw this, was like, oh, 2 comedians. Fuck yeah, that's who I want advice from. Literally, like, I don't want to go to marriage therapy. I don't want to go to some other Christian couple. I want to talk to 2 people who keep it straight and like don't make a big deal of things. So part of what I'm saying is like, the idea of doing something on purpose, I think, psychs me out. Like, if I have to set something up, does that communicate that there's a problem with our relationship? And so I think that's my only hesitation. I don't know.
But I thought you said that he sees things the same way you do, in the sense that it's more like friendships and roommates.
Ooh, Lorraine cutting to the quick.
Yes.
Calling you out on your own logic flaws, Sammy.
So that why would he have a problem with you suggesting this?
He wouldn't. I think
You're saying admitting to yourself.
Yep.
May I point out that you called an advice podcast to figure out what to do?
Yeah, I thought it was a good medium.
I'm just saying you already know there's something odd. It doesn't mean it's a problem.
But also, I've said to Moshe, we need to like have a romantic date. I need to get away. I need to get away. I mean, who doesn't need to get away? You know, it's like, I say it to you all the time. I'm like, when are we going to do something fun and romantic? When can we go to this favorite place I love?
Can you guys travel? Or I guess you probably can't right now.
You could go climb a hill together or go to the park or, anything.
Go to Columbus, go to Cleveland, go to Akron. So just get out there, see the world. Yeah, Canton. That's a great idea. See the world.
Yeah.
A weekend at a hotel would be awesome because it almost engenders
just do
sexuality.
it once. You don't have to change your personality. Just come up with something that is like feeling romantic that a couple would do and go do it. It doesn't have to be a crazy thing.
Right.
You don't have to do like a hot air balloon and like,
Right. Or do a calendar where you write sex on the date. It's like you can just take him out you don't even have to tell him.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, please, Lorraine.
I have a friend who was married, and they were absolutely best friends. But one day they both looked at each other and said, that's all it is, really. So they got a divorce, but they had kids too. But they're best friends now.
And do they have happy relationships with other people?
No, they have crazy sex with each other constantly.
I don't know what he's doing. I know that, but she's crazy. So there's that. So she's had she doesn't have good choices in men except for that one guy. Mm-hmm. So it's been challenging for her. But
is your friend Sammy?
Yeah,
in 5 years? Is it Sammy in 5 years? Is that your friend?
But I think that, just not being complacent. So, like Lorraine's friends, they did something, it's like, I think taking steps is always good and moving in a forward direction.
That's so smart, Natasha, because eventually this feeling will probably end up could end up bubbling into you becoming resentful. In 5 years, what was a dynamic that was like comfortable will become a dynamic that you resent, will become a regret. And maybe it could
5
be.
years or one pandemic.
Or one more pandemic. The Lambda.
After Lambda.
After post Lambda.
Post Lambda, you're going to be like, did we help you a little bit, honey?
Oh, yeah. I also feel like just saying it out loud kind of like made it less of a big deal, honestly. So yeah.
Sammy, isn't that the case with therapy in the first place? It doesn't matter who the person is. It's just that they're not you and you said it out loud. Honestly, right? Like I have no respect for therapists, right, Sammy? Just kidding.
All right. Okay, well, bye, Sammy. We'll talk to you soon.
Good luck.
Bye, Sammy. You guys could have prayed every night for 2 years, lit candles, and never have gotten a guest that good.
She was awesome. But
she was wonderful.
I mean, she's a wild woman.
But she's also a Christian therapist.
I know. She's a wild woman that's trying to be a Christian therapist housewife, and it's just not working. That was my take.
It's just cute. And it was an onion slowly being peeled away. And I'm a Christian. And also, I'm a therapist.
A soy candle slowly being burned away.
See, that's why she loves Cincinnati. She's Christian.
See, but that is a difficult thing when you are a person who's smart. She clearly was smart and got your shit together, but also you want a dysfunctional asshole to be your love partner. You want some wild man like the Fonz to pull up and take
like the
you
Fonz.
away.
That's exactly it. Like the Fonz.
Yeah.
Well, Lorraine, you had great advice.
Yep.
I feel like you helped us
Thank
so
you.
much.
So did you guys.
But I liked that you kind of filled it out with like an opposite approach, because that is what you should do when you're seeking advice, is get some opinions. And I feel like cobble together what is the most you and what is the most resonant to you.
Yeah, I think you have a laser pointer through bullshit, Lorraine. That would be my assessment of your advice. You find
Well-
where the bullshit is wiggling and you burn it away.
Thank you. I am scared that the whole idea of suggesting an open marriage is going to come back at me and I'll be canceled or something, but
I don't think
we'll see.
I don't think you can get canceled for that anymore.
No, I think the opposite. If you said like I am against open marriage,
Then you're in trouble.
Again.
That's when you're in trouble. Now you're judgmental and you're anti-sex positivity. Honestly, I think that was good advice. I think this has been great.
well, thank
This
you,
has been
Lorraine.
so fun, you guys. Thank you for having me.
Well, the next
Thank you.
next time we see you, how about it's at a dinner and we like hang out for real
I would
that
love
would
that.
be so fun.
outside.
So fun.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
This was awesome. Lorraine, nice to hang out with you.
You too, guys. See
Okay.
you soon, I hope.
Bye.
Same here.
Bye.
She was awesome.
Yeah, she had great advice.
Great advice. And, just
And
a
she
cool-
agreed with me that you shouldn't let your 20-year-olds smoke pot until their brains are fully developed.
That's okay. Well, you won
Honestly,
that round.
I started at 23, exactly when she said.
I think that's smart.
I didn't really start. I tried it at 23, but I didn't really start smoking heavily until January 2020.
till right just as coronavirus was being transformed into COVID-19.
Exactly.
That's when you really got heavy into marijuana use.
on COVID Eve.
COVID Eve. Yeah, no, I liked Lorraine. I think that she was like a cool person.
Yeah, she is.
You know who else is a cool person?
Who?
You. And you know why I think you're so cool?
Why?
Because I love you.
Oh, thanks. I love you too.